Welcome to Live Interactive English. Hello everyone, I'm Mike.
Hello, I'm Kiki.
And today we are going to be reading a short one-day article about a guy who did something kind of unusual. He built something by himself. Something that people don't normally build by themselves. So when I heard this, I thought, what did he do? Did he build his own car? Did he build his own computer? Did he build his own house? Some people do that. I couldn't, but some people do. But no. Those are much too simple and much too small for this guy.
He kind of built a house.
Kind of a house, but not for himself.
No, not for himself, for someone else.
A house for the good Lord, a house for God. He built his own church.
Wow.
And churches are sometimes called, the house of God. So that is unusual, I have to say. That's kind of like I'm going to build my own hospital or build my own supermarket or something. Like there's churches, people build them, but you don't do it on your own.
Yeah, especially because I think
it's
building
hard.
A church, it's hard. That's one
big.
thing. It's big. It's expensive.
It would be very expensive. You think building your own house would cost, unless it's the world's tiniest church.
I don't think so.
No, you don't think so? It's a proper church?
I think he's really dedicated.
Well, this is a guy we need to know about. Why did he do it? How did he do it? When did he do it? Where did he do it? And where did he get the money? And also, how did he know? I mean, I wouldn't even know where to start, even if I had all the money. Where do you start? So let's find out. We're going to learn about the man who built his own church.
Justo Gallego Martinez always wanted to serve God. As a young man, he tried to be a monk, but ill health stopped him. Then he had a dream of building a church in his hometown of Mejorada del Campo, Spain. He had little money and no experience in architecture or construction. Yet, from 1961 until his death in 2021, he worked tirelessly to make his dream a reality.
All right, today we are reading about the man who built his own church. All right, let's get right into it. Justo Gallego Martinez always wanted to serve God. As a young man, he tried to be a monk, but ill health stopped him.
Well, that's too bad.
That is too bad. Okay, so a monk is usually a man who is very dedicated to his religion. And they usually will take vows to serve the church or serve God. And there are lots of things, lots of details that go into it. But basically, a monk, they will usually stay in a certain area inside a church, and they will do things for the church. Very dedicated to their religion.
They're workers or servants for God, serving the people through the church. Often they wear special robes or clothes. I think Buddhist monks and some Christian monks, they'll shave their heads. Oftentimes, right? But basically, their church, the church is their job, their work, their family, their life. They've kind of dedicated, they're soldiers for God, I guess you could also say. So we have an example sentence here.
Yes, the monks prayed quietly in the old temple.
And sometimes those monks, they'll pray, 8, 10, 12 hours a day. Prayer and service, especially helping the poor, the sick, the needy. This is their life. This is what they have dedicated their lives to. But he couldn't do it because of ill health. I guess it is a tough life being a monk, right? You don't have a lot of luxury or comforts, and you work really hard. So he couldn't quite do that, but he still believed in God. He wanted to do something. Then it says he had a dream of building a church in his hometown of Mejorada del Campo. This is in Spain. So he still wanted to do something, and like a lot of people who are religious, his big idea kind of came in a dream as if God was speaking to him. And in the middle of his dream, God said, "Build me a church in your hometown." And he woke up and went, "Will do, man." Because his hometown is where he lives, or at least where he comes from. Your hometown will be generally the place you were born and or the place that you grew up, the place you went for, through school and things like that. You could move for work or job or school or whatever later on, but if someone kind of says, where are you from? Where did you grow up? they're kind of asking, what is your hometown? But, as you go through your life, that could change and your home could be in a new town. But often we would use it to talk about the place you began life. It says, this weekend I will go back to my hometown to visit my parents. So this person might live in Taipei and they may have lived there for 20 years, but they might still consider Hualien or Kaohsiung or another place their hometown where they grew up.
Okay, now, Justo.
Yes.
He had little money and no experience in architecture or construction.
These are problems.
Yeah.
These are difficulties.
Especially if you want to build a church.
Right. So no money to do it, and he doesn't have the knowledge or skills to actually build buildings.
Yep. Yet, from 1961 until his death in 2021, he worked tirelessly to make his dream a reality.
That's 60 years? That's 60 years.
60 years to make your dream come true.
Good for you, Justo. You're kind of crazy, but I admire your determination. So let's take a break and then we'll find out more about this very interesting fellow, Justo.
Hello， 大家好，我是 Hanny。今天的课程是要介绍一位用回收建材自己盖教堂的人，他的名字是 Justo Gallego Martinez， 胡斯托·加列戈·马丁尼兹。那他年轻的时候想要成为修道士，可是健康不佳使他没办法实现这样的愿望。他梦想要在家乡来建造一座教堂，可是他没什么钱，也没有建筑或是建造方面的经验。那从1961年到2021年他去世为止，他坚持不懈，努力要让自己的梦想成真。我们来看单字 monk 就表示修道士或是僧侣。Kiki 老师在讲解时，他有用到 dedicate 这个动词 dedicate dedicate 表示献出，像是献出全部的精力啊、时间等等。我们可以用 be dedicated to 加上名词或动名词去表达献身于什么，将什么投注于什么什么。老师还有用到 vow 这个字 vow 它可以当名词表示誓言，也可以当动词去表达发誓的意思。再看到下一个单字是 hometown 就是家乡、故乡。那我们接着回到课文中。
For 60 years, Justo built his church almost entirely on his own. He worked for 10 hours every day except Sundays. That's when he attended Mass. He used junk to construct the building. Pillars were made from old oil drums, while the windows were made from old pieces of colored glass that he had found. Sadly, Justo was not able to finish his church before his death. However, many people have been inspired by his story and have promised to complete the building in his honor. Justo proved that by working hard and following your dreams, amazing things are possible.
All right, so with no money and very little knowledge, Justo has been working on his own church for a very long time. For how long? Let's find out. Back in the article, it says for 60 years. Yeah, a long time. For 60 years, Justo built his church almost entirely on his own. So he's doing this by himself.
That's insane.
It is, but it also kind of explains why it took 60 years. It could be a long time. But hey, what are his friends? What about people helping him out? This seems like something he's doing for everyone, but no one's like, oh yeah, I'll help you. No, you're on your own. But he did it. He stuck to it. I would have quit after one day. He worked for 10 hours every day except Sundays. That's when he attended Mass, because as a good Catholic, right, as a good Roman Catholic Christian, he goes to Mass or goes to church on Sunday. That's when they'll have the biggest, longest church service of the year. They'll do communion and all that kind of stuff. So that's your day off. That's your day of rest, traditionally Sunday for Christians. But he worked 6 days a week by himself for a long time, having one day off a week.
Right, 10 hours.
10 hours a day.
Yeah. So attend means to go to something, to go to an event, okay? So an example sentence would be, last month I attended my brother's wedding.
Oh, that was nice. Yes.
So Justo, he used junk to construct the building.
Oh, Well, that would save him money.
And it's kind of eco-friendly, actually.
Very eco-friendly. Very, very wise.
Pillars were made from old oil drums.
Okay.
While the windows were made from old pieces of colored glass that he had found.
That could actually be quite beautiful.
Yeah, so actually this is a very eco-friendly church.
That's right. He's reusing a lot of things in order to build this church, saving himself money, emptying out the local junkyards or local garbage dumps and things like that.
Upcycling.
He's upcycling junk into a church.
Yeah.
That is a pretty incredible thing to do, and a very sort of, you're right, a very sort of modern idea. He started this in the 60s. This is something people do a lot now, but back then that would have been crazy.
Yeah.
Especially to use all that junk to build a church. I'm sure there were a lot of people who probably were upset.
Yeah.
How can you use junk to build a church for God, you know?
Disrespectful.
But he knows God wants to protect the environment. God would probably say, good idea, Justo. Because junk is basically stuff people don't want. It's kind of like garbage. It might not be as broken or as dirty or as useless as garbage. It could be a broken old car that doesn't work, a broken TV. It could be machines that, you know, had a little problem and they don't really, do what they should do, so we throw them away. But for a creative person, for someone who's good with their hands, good with machines, or someone like Justo who's creative and artistic, they can take that stuff, that junk, and instead of it becoming garbage, it becomes something new and beautiful, like a piece of art, for example. Here's an example. The backyard is full of old junk. I need to get rid of it all. Maybe you can find someone who can look through the junk and maybe they can save some things. But yes, junk often does become garbage. Sadly, it says Justo was not able to finish his church before his death. Wow, he worked really hard on this for 60 years. I guess he didn't start when he was 1 year old.
No.
He was probably in his 70s or 80s or something. So yes, he had a hard, long life, but he was very dedicated to his goal. It says, however, many people have been inspired by his story and have promised to complete the building in his honor. Well, isn't that nice?
That's very nice.
Yes.
Yeah, because the man dedicated his whole life to this.
He did something really wonderful and selfless. He did it for everyone, not for himself.
And regardless of why people didn't help him when he was alive,
Right?
after he passed away, people wanted to continue and wanted to finish and to honor him.
Yeah, I'm sure a lot of those people are young people who want to honor him also for reusing all that stuff. Yeah,
exactly. So here we have the word honor in noun form. And basically we know that when you want to honor someone, you're giving somebody a lot of recognition and respect of something that they have done while they are alive or even after they've passed away. And in this case, we know that a lot of people, they were really disappointed to know that Justo, he couldn't complete his dream of completing the church, but they thought he was so inspiring. So in his honor, they promised to complete the church. Okay, now another example sentence for the word honor is, I planted a tree in my mom's honor.
Oh, okay. So that's as a noun, you do something in someone's honor, or to use it as a verb, I honored my mom by planting a tree. So there you go. Very cool.
Justo proved that by working hard and following your dreams, amazing things are possible.
Absolutely. It was unfortunate he couldn't live to see all of those amazing things get finished, but he certainly started the ball rolling and he inspired many people. And here he is kind of inspiring us here in Taiwan long after he's dead in another part of the world. But we look at this guy, look at what he did and go, wow, that is very impressive. Full of respect for Justo Gallego Martinez. We salute you wherever you are. Probably up there in heaven, hanging out with God.
That's right.
Yeah, probably. Take care, everyone. We'll see you soon. Bye-bye.
刚刚 说到胡斯托梦想在家乡建造一座教堂，从1961年到2021年他去世为止，他努力要让这个梦想成真。那么在60年间，他几乎就是全凭一己之力来建造这个教堂，每天工作10个小时，就除了礼拜天之外，因为礼拜天要参加弥撒。那么这个单字 attend 它是动词，表示经常去，可能像是去教会啊，去学校，它也有参加出席的意思。那文中的 mass 首字母大写，它是用来指这个天主教的弥撒圣餐礼。这时候 Mike 老师他也有用到 communion 这个字，C 大写，那这时候它是指这个圣餐仪式。好，那么课文接着提到说，胡斯托他利用废弃的旧物来建造这栋建筑，柱子是用旧的油桶做成的，窗户是他用他找到的这种旧彩色玻璃片做成的。那令人难过的是，他没办法在过世前完成这座教堂。有许多人有受到他的故事来激励，承诺要完成这栋建筑物来纪念他。好，那么单字 junk 它表示废弃物品，它是不可数名词。而老师说的 junkyard 它表示废物堆积场。那老师还有提到 upcycle upcycle 这个动词可以表达升级再造。好，那么下一个单字是 honor 当名词，它表示敬意荣誉，我们可以用到 in somebody's honor 或者是 in honor of somebody 去表达为了向某人致敬，为了纪念某人。那这边2个重点，我们进入文法时间。好，我们来看第一个重点是 on one's own， 它是有不同意思的。首先第一个意思是表达独立，像是独立完成某事，没有别人帮忙，或者是表达靠自己，这时候相当于 by oneself。例如 Noah renovated the house on his own。Noah 凭一己之力翻修那一间房子。那第二个意思是单独地、独自地，这时候呢，它就相当于 alone。例如 Their grandfather lives on his own。他们的祖父独自一个人住。好，那第二个重点是由什么什么制成。我们来看第一个用法，可以用到 be made of 加名词，这时候是当成品本质没有变，仍看得出原料的时候。例如 Lots of toys are made of plastic。许多玩具是塑胶制的。好，那第二个句型是 be made from 加名词，这是当这个制作过程发生了化学变化，我们从成品看不出原料了。例如 These clothes are made from recycled plastic bottles。这些衣服是用回收的塑胶瓶制成的。那介绍第三个句型会是 be made with 加名词，这单纯就是指来说明这个原料成分，像是 The cake is made with layers of cream and berries。这个蛋糕是由好几层的鲜奶油和莓果制成的。好，那么以上这些讲解，同学们别走开，马上回来哦。
Justo Gallego Martinez always wanted to serve God. As a young man, he tried to be a monk, but ill health stopped him. Then he had a dream of building a church in his hometown of Mejorada del Campo, Spain. He had little money and no experience in architecture or construction. Yet, from 1961 until his death in 2021, he worked tirelessly to make his dream a reality. For 60 years, Justo built his church almost entirely on his own. He worked for 10 hours every day except Sundays. That's when he attended Mass. He used junk to construct the building. Pillars were made from old oil drums, while the windows were made from old pieces of colored glass that he had found. Sadly, Justo was not able to finish his church before his death. However, many people have been inspired by his story and have promised to complete the building in his honor. Justo proved that by working hard and following your dreams, amazing things are possible.
Hey, it's Kiwi on the street. I'm Kiki.
And I'm Winnie.
Oh, it's starting to get really chilly.
Oh, yeah, but in the morning it was very hot. But you know what? You need a shacket.
A shacket? What's a shacket?
It's a portmanteau, and it means a shirt, kind of like a jacket mixture thing.
So a shirt jacket.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, okay. Well, I guess we're working on portmanteaus today.
It's time for some portmanteaus. Okay, cosplay. What are the two words that make up?
Costume play.
What are
Costume player, right? Like costume
Okay, very good. Costume and
and maybe costume.
very good. Costume and play. So
Good
costume
job.
play. Very good. Motel.
Oh, motorcycle hotel.
Moto and hotel. Hotel.
Uh-huh.
Hotel?
Yeah.
Motel, hotel.
Very. She got it. You're the first one. Motor hotel. Very good, because then you can drive your car, park your car. What have we learned today? Let's work on some portmanteaus. A portmanteau is when you take one word, combine it with another to create a new word. So our first one is cosplay. That's costume and role play. So cosplay is very different from, say, Halloween time when you dress up as something. Cosplay, you look at a specific character and you want to recreate their look as best as you can. So, for example, you would say, what are you going to cosplay as for the convention? Our second one is motel. So that's when you take motor, combine it with hotel to make motel. It's different from a hotel because a motel room will have a space where you can park your car. So, for example, you could say, if you are tired, pull over to a motel. That's all we have for today. KiWi later.